今时华尔街时刻，我是于超，现在位于华尔街纽约证交所，为您带来最前沿的财经资讯。美国总统特朗普上任1周年之际，美国政府再次上演了关门大戏。由于美国国会参议院在当地时间19日晚未能通过一项联邦政府临时拨款法案，联邦政府非核心部门从21日零时开始被迫暂停关闭。这也是2013年10月以来联邦政府的再次关门事件。目前政府的停摆对于金融市场带来的影响较小，是否会有后置的影响呢？进一步的分析，我们来连线 CME 芝加哥商品交易所的分析师。We see that government shutdown remains in fact Monday. So how do you see this event for this time since 2013? And when will be supposable time you think that it will close to reopen? And how does it affect market volatility, especially for gold prices?
Well, it's interesting because now the Senate Democrats and Republicans did agree to a deal, and they have a continuing resolution in place that the president needs to sign before he goes to Davos, Switzerland. So we are keeping the government open, but keeping in mind that this is a continuing resolution expiring on February 19th. But there was a verbal promise between the Republicans and the Democrats that the immigration conversation, the immigration negotiation would be brought to Congress or brought to the Senate floor by February 8th. So this really only extends sort of the relief of tensions to February 8th. So it's still kind of in the air, but the market really treated it as they should. They didn't treat it as any sort of event that has an effect on GDP or on earnings.
Speaking of good market, from the chart we can tell that maybe a big decline is just around the corner, and paying a lot of attention to bullish signs might be misleading. So what is our focus on that?
Well, I think gold is going to stay pretty much where it is, and it's going to continue in this range for a number of reasons, not the least of which all of the piling in of money into cryptocurrencies. I've been one who has said before that Bitcoin investors and gold investors are not the same, and that if Bitcoin crashed, it wouldn't necessarily go into gold. But it looked like in the crash of cryptocurrencies that we had last week on Tuesday and Wednesday, some of that money did go into the precious metals. So I think that kind of puts a floor underneath gold. I don't know that a huge sell-off is coming. The dollar is continuing to weaken, and again, we see cryptocurrencies lower right now. So I think gold is just going to be in a range, and that range could be $20 to $30, somewhere in the range of, say, $12.25 all the way up to about $12.45, $12.55.
Let's switch to the oil market. How do you see the conflict between Kurds and Turkey right now? Do you think it implies that oil prices would move higher due to the region's strategic position in oil supply routes? And we see that speculators currently have a record net long position on the market, with bullish bets outweighing bearish ones. From your point of view, how much upside we can reach?
Well, oil has upside, but I don't know that the sort of logistics of crude oil is what's going to do it. We've got a situation now where we just had a summit between OPEC and Russia, and they agreed, Alexander Novak, who's the energy minister of Russia, said as much. They agreed that the market is rebalancing, but it has not rebalanced yet. So they reaffirmed production cuts through 2018 and even discussed 2019. And as if they were going to continue production cuts out that way. So while the U.S. is going to end up surpassing their record production and potentially even approaching 11 million barrels, maybe late this year, early next year, it's not going to happen overnight. So crude oil in the short term has another $2 to $3 upside in it. But again, similar to gold, it's likely to stay in this range. Also, geopolitics in terms of gold is likely to be more about at the well source than the logistics of moving the crude oil.
好的，以上就是本期的金石华尔街时刻，感谢您的收看，我们下期再会。